Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyles, community, and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. This first full week of December is behind us. Everyone is out Christmas shopping, getting ideas. The whole retail industry has changed so much in the last 20 years. Not as much brick and mortar as there is a lot of online purchasing. And lots of creative artisan type gifts that are available today that because of social media, I think has instantly become very popular. And we're going to be speaking today with Toni Portu, who is the owner of Land of the Pines Soap Company and Hobby Farm out of West End, and an artisan soap maker. Good morning.
Good morning.
We had the occasion we didn't just meet today.
No.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Your boys were 1.
They were 1.
So she has twin boys. Her husband is a friend, Dan Portu of Heritage Hardwood Flooring, and we've had occasion to do a lot of business together over the years. And Dan kept telling me, he said, you need to see what Toni's doing, and because he knew I was kind of like
Soapaholic.
Soapaholic, shaveaholic.
Shaveaholic.
And so he said, you need to go on her Etsy site, you need to do this, you need to do that. And so it just came up that, especially with Christmas occasions, parties, lunches, people are looking for gifts, for trinkets, and they get inundated with natural this, organic that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think most people know the difference, but you're going to help us today a lot talking about it. So tell me how this all started, where the inspiration came from.
Well, I was a hairstylist for about 10 years.
That's right.
Yes, before I had the boys and before I went back to school.
Right.
And in the winter, going from the shampoo bowl to the blow dryer, your hands would just get so dry and cracked. And I said, what is this?
Right.
None of the lotions were working.
Right.
And I've always been a little bit more on the herbal, natural side of things. So I started making my own hand salve. I didn't sell it. It was just personal use. Did that, went back to school, got a degree in forensic science with a chemistry concentration.
Okay.
And then after I had the boys, I just started getting more into that natural side of things and making more products and soaps and things like that. And then about 2 years ago, I decided to start selling it.
It's so funny you mentioned chemistry, because one of the things I was going to say, that when I look at your soaps, it's like part chemist and part artist.
Yes.
The combination of the two.
And that's something I really missed when I was doing hair in the salon, was the creative side of it. And this is something that still lets me do that artistic outlet.
Yeah.
Each soap is a piece of work.
You've been doing this for about 2 years?
I've been selling it locally for about 2 years. I've been making soap for about 5 or 6 years and products for over 10.
People go into the grocery store. They have a whole shelves upon shelves of soaps that have been in business for many, many years. And people are now becoming so much more ingredient aware. Some of the things in the commercial soaps are detergents and things that are not so good for you.
No, my favorite is, if you happen to read the labeling, you'll see things like propylene glycol, which is a synthetic compound. It's a humectant. It's found in the vape juices that have come out. It's found in antifreeze. It's formed from quite a few different aspects, but one of the components is chloroform.
Oh, really?
Yes, but it's deemed safe for humans because it takes such a high dose to actually cause effect. But still, who wants something that's been synthesized from chloroform in their products?
Tell me what a humectant is.
Humectant? It pulls moisture in. It keeps the soap or the product that they've put it in with a moisture content. So when you open it in 6 months to a year to 2 years after they've made it, you don't have this hard, dried out product.
So it's like I don't know, a moisturizer?
Well, a
moisturizer, preservative?
Yeah, it's sort of more like a preservative.
Yeah. So the amount of scents and the variety of looks they're extensive. Your Etsy site is very attractive.
Thank you.
Yeah, and isn't a part of the soap business as much the content of the soap as much as the packaging.
Yes, and that is one thing that I have heard, and it really makes me feel great when I hear people say, "Oh, I love your packaging," because I put as much time and effort into designing the soap as I did the packaging that it was going to go into.
Right. And do you do, so I've seen soaps that are wrapped in cardboard. They're open air though. I mean, and then there's some that are sealed in how do you do yours?
I started out with the little label wrapping, and I wrapped them in wax paper to preserve the scent
Right.
and stuff. But you can't really smell it that well. People like to see what they're getting. It kind of masks the design and stuff. So I switched to open air soaps. I do keep them stored in a container at home so that the fragrance or the essential oils aren't dispersing as much as they would if they were just sitting out on a shelf all the time.
One of the things a layman will see when they look at a soap site, because there are lots of different soap sites, they'll see essential oils, and they'll see sometimes fragrance oils.
Right.
What is the difference?
So essential oils are steam distilled or solvent distilled, for lack of a better word, removed from plant-based material.
Right.
They're naturally occurring. They're made from all different components. Synthetics, fragrance oils, are lab created. They're not natural. They may contain some natural ingredients, but for the most part, they are not. They provide a longer lasting scent for some people that don't mind that. Fragrance oils obviously are more natural. They're the safer, better route to go.
Fragrance oils are?
Essential oils.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Essential oils.
Okay.
But you don't get as strong of a scent. You aren't going to get as long of a lasting scent. So
Okay.
that soap that you bought 6 months ago, the scent might have faded, whereas if you had bought one with a fragrance oil, it would still have a longer lasting scent to it.
So why is it that if you had a soap that was made with all organic, natural ingredients, and we're going to talk about that, and all the best stuff that you could probably put on your skin, but it had no scent? The scent is a big part of the total package.
Well, aesthetics as well.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy an ugly soap that smells great. They want a pretty soap. But with the soaps I do, since 100% of them are goat milk based, I
Right.
use goat milk as part of my liquid solution. They still have a really nice warm soft scent because of
Okay.
the sugar from the milk. I won't say it smells like caramel, but there's a notable scent even in the unscented soaps.
So I did some research because I think of soaps as one of those inexpensive guilty pleasures for people, right?
Which, by the way, handmade soap should cost way more. We really need to boost the market on that. There's a lot of effort and time that goes into that.
Give me, before I even get into the scents I was going to talk about, so price-wise on your soaps, just give a parameter of ranges. What prices are you at where people
The
can buy?
average is $7.50 for a bar of soap. It's a 5-ounce bar. I call it a luxury bar of soap because it has hemp seed oil, shea butter, and a variety of other things that you don't get from the majority of handmade soaps. They're usually 3 ingredients, vegetable oil, lard, those types of things. I use a higher quality. 99% of it is organic.
Right. So organic is another term that gets bantied around.
Yes.
And what do people need to know when they see organic? What justifies it?
So, in reference to skincare or soap products,
Yeah.
for something to be considered organic, it's composed of 95% or more certified organic ingredients.
Okay.
You can also see some things that are labeled made with organic ingredients,
Right.
and they have to contain a minimum of 70% of organic ingredients, which means there's no synthetic compounds, there's no fragrance oil, those types of things.
Is that one of the reasons why when we'll call them artisan soaps or designer soaps, they seem to run down, they don't last as long as some of the soaps that you can buy in the grocery store, that because of preservatives?
Well, preservatives, and also it depends on how that bar was made. The certain types of oils or butters they put in there. First of all, no soap should be left out in the shower if you're not going to use it.
Right.
They'll turn into a big pile of mush. I always tell people, let the soap get wet when you're using it, let it dry out when you're not. It will last longer.
Right.
Even store-bought soap, if it's going to stay wet every time you get in the shower, will turn into a pile of soapy mush. But yes, the preservatives, those awful chemicals they put in there do contribute to some of the longevity. But mainly it's the oils that go in there. Certain oils provide different aspects. the hardness of the bar, the creaminess of the lather, a more bubbly lather, a more moisturizing bar.
Right.
It's a big variety of what you're putting in there is how hard and how long that bar is going to last.
That's why it's a good idea to have soap dishes that are sort of aerated at the bottom,
Yes.
so water can drop through it and it will dry quicker.
Yes, we actually offer some little wooden soap dishes, and I'm currently in the works with another local artisan, Megan Lee with Fickle Pottery. She's doing some ceramic or pottery soap dishes for me.
And are those soap dishes, will they have little weep holes in the bottom?
They will.
Okay, so
She does
everything has to
beautiful
drain
work.
out.
Yes, everything needs to drain out.
Okay. So you were talking about fragrance oils and essential oils. So I went on Google. I started looking up a lot of things. These are, according to one study, the most popular scents that people like. Lavender,
Yes.
citrus, chamomile, mint, rose, sage, lemongrass.
Don't dispute that at all.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
The lemongrass, not so much. I've had some requests for a soap. I made that. It didn't sell as quickly as other scents, but the majority of what you listed are all very popular.
All right. So now they go on to say the top 10 essential oils for soap making.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said essential oils to begin with. Those fragrances that you listed first are the essential oil soaps that I make. I don't use fragrance oils for those scents.
Perfect. They have here lavender essential oil, rosemary, folded lemon essential oil. I don't know what that means. Cedarwood essential oil. How do you pronounce patchouli?
Patchouli.
Patchouli. Dark patchouli essential oil, clary sage, folded sweet orange essential oil, and peppermint essential oil.
Very popular. I actually just made 14 pounds of lavender and peppermint because that's how popular it is.
14 pounds.
14 pounds of soap.
And you do this. This is a home-based business?
Yes, home-based.
Your house must smell delicious.
It does.
All
My
the
soap room is fabulous.
all the time. So I'm familiar with your home. Tell me where the room is in the house.
So it was the guest bedroom next to the guest bath. We turned that into my husband's man room / office. It's also my office / soap room.
Okay. And you do all the preparation, everything in the house?
Yes. Product storage, from opening products to making the soap to storing the soap to packaging it. All happens at home.
And what's the difference between cold process and heat process soaps?
Hot processed.
Hot process?
Yes, those are the two ways of going about soap making. Cold process is you take your solution, your lye, your liquid, which is either milk, fruit, water. You make your soap, and then it sits for 4 to 6 weeks after it saponifies. Saponification is the process that goes from the lye mixture mixing with the oils and fats and the butters and all the things you put in there, and then the end product is soap and glycerin. Hot process creates the exact same end result. You get a bar of soap. The ingredients don't change. But as I mentioned with cold process, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for that bar to cure, which is the excess moisture leaving.
Okay.
With hot process, you mix the lye mixture with all the other ingredients, the oils, the fats, the scents, and all that. And then you continue to finger quote cook it for an hour to 2 hours over low heat, and it goes through the saponification process.
Okay.
In the pot, it's also pushing out that excess moisture. And when you pour it in your mold, it's technically ready to use the next day.
Oh.
You still should wait about a week or two to use it, but it's technically sound and safe
All
at
right.
the end.
But most of the soaps are cold process?
Yes, you have more room for design with that.
okay.
It's a more fluid liquid batter. It goes through a very liquidy stage to tracing, which is where the soap starts to thicken up like pancake batter. And you have more room to mix your colorants and herbal mixes like the botanicals that you top it with. With hot process, you don't have that much room. You can usually get away with maybe doing 2 colors. But I will say with hot process soap, your essential oil scent does last a little longer because it doesn't go through such a heating process.
So you referred to lye. Is that the same thing as sodium hydroxide?
It is sodium hydroxide, and that is how I typically like to bring it up because
Right.
people have such a bad connotation when they hear the word
Of lye. Yeah.
It's lye soap.
Right.
It's this. Well, you will not have soap without lye. Sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide.
So is the lye or the sodium hydroxide, is that the glue that keeps everything together in a bar of soap?
I would call it the catalyst. That is
catalyst.
what is going to pop off the reaction. That's what takes the liquid, you mix it with your lye solution, and then that lye solution mixes with
Yep.
the fats, the oils that you've put in there, and that pushes the saponification process.
So do people, so is lye bad for you, good for you? Is it okay, a little in small doses?
Lye is, I mean, if you're not going to eat it,
Right.
which is highly discouraged. Lye is perfectly fine. You will not have soap. I can't reiterate that enough. There would be no soap, liquid soap, hard soap, without a sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide.
Okay. We're going to come back in the second set. We want to talk a lot about your product, what your product line is, and I still have some more questions because I collect shave soaps,
Yes.
and there's a different chemical composition. Some of them are vegan, some of them are using animal fats like
Right.
beef tallow, bison tallow. It's amazing the permutations that they can come up with, and the scents are like off the charts.
Yes.
Just like your soaps.
Thank
so,
you.
we're going to find out about what you do for men as well in the second set.
Okay.
Our guest is Toni Portu. She is the owner of Land of the Pines Soap Company, and we're learning all about some of the gifts that are still available for Christmas.
Yes, you have up until December 23rd. You can place an order for local pickup,
Okay.
and we can get that
Okay.
going for you.
So there are probably a lot of women out there that would like to get their husband some really strong exfoliating type soaps. Okay, we're going to come back. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to our second set of All Things Moore County, speaking with Toni Portu, the owner of Land of the Pine Soap Company. You're a native of Moore County. You grew up in this area?
I did. I grew up in Aberdeen.
And I'll have to get into how you and Dan met.
Okay.
You guys have been married how long?
Oh gosh,
Not that long.
I'm a horrible wife. I never remember.
Okay.
I think it's 7 years. We've been married 7 years this year.
Okay. I had met Dan first before I had met you, and I didn't know you had a chemistry background, but part artist, part chemist, and this is a natural expression, I guess, of putting the two together.
Yeah, I love it. It brings both of my things together.
So, isn't
loves.
it great to work out of your home and to have a viable business without having to work 9 to 5?
It is, and I'm also home with the kids.
Right.
That was my big thing. I was a hairstylist, as you mentioned before, for almost 10 years.
Right.
I was going to school during the last 2 years of that, and then Dan and I decided to start a family, so I took a couple years off for that, went back and finished my degree, and realized I don't want to be gone 9 to 5. I wanted
Right.
to stay home with the boys and be there for them like my mother was for me.
Right. But there's something to be said for being self-employed, and independent
Yes.
contractor, so to speak, and do what you're passionate about.
Yes, you need that creative outlet, whether it's being physically fit or, making a little small business for yourself. Just something that keeps you going.
Tell me about the name of the company, Land of the Pines.
Land of the Pines. Just as long as I can remember, you step out your front door in my parents'
Right.
home, it was just full of pine trees.
Right.
You look up, there's that song Wagon Wheel where they refer to Land of the Pines. We have the Robin Sage that goes on, and they refer to the area and stuff as Pine Land. It's just a very piney area, for lack of a better word. And Land of the Pines just kind of came out when I started to do the business. I said, well, what am I going to name it? And it was probably just 5 minutes into throwing names out there, and I was like, Land of the Pines. That's
Right.
it.
Right. I want to go back to the chemistry part of this in a minute, the lye.
Okay.
But I want to sort of ask you, so people today, if they want to look at your site and pick up some Christmas gifts, what's the best way for them to find your product?
So I use an Etsy platform for my online shopping. You can go directly through Etsy to Land of the Pines shop. It's all one word.
Okay.
Or if you're an Instagram follower, we're Land of the Pines Soap Company, and there's a link on there that will take you to the Etsy store. You could order through Etsy. If it's a local order, there's a shipping code you can put in, local, which will delete the shipping charges, so we can just arrange pickup. Or some people just message me via social media and say, hey, I'm local, this is what I want, where can we meet up? And then we just work something out.
And you have drop zones or drop areas where you hook up?
Drop areas. Some people will do, I call it porch pickup. They'll swing by the house and pick their order up from me. But typically I meet locally.
Okay, and so people look at this and they really go by the pictures that you post. Pictures are so important.
Pictures. Also, I've had a lot of repeat customers that I've met from craft fairs or the Malcolm Blue Farm.
Right.
So they've smelled or seen what they're wanting beforehand.
Delivery time right now with your inventory, a couple of days?
Depending on the order, I could have it whipped up and ready for you the next day because I do keep quite a bit of soap and candles made in stock. But if it was a large order, wholesale, or a whole office of gift boxes, then I would need 3 to 5 days, depending.
We were talking in the first set about sodium hydroxide and lye, and you had a follow-up thought on that.
I did. I wanted to touch back on that because I feel like there is a lot of scowling and a lot of hesitance when you hear the word lye.
Right.
Like I said before, we should refer to it as sodium hydroxide
Right.
or potassium hydroxide if it's a liquid soap. But lye is not an end product in the soap. Lye is what transforms the fats and the oils and the liquid into the soap and glycerin product.
And
So
is that the saponification?
yes, the saponification
I love that word. I just
process.
like saying that word.
Yes.
Saponification. Okay.
Saponification. So you take 2 parts,
Right.
and then you get a whole. The lye should, if you've gotten a good quality bar of soap from someone who knows what they're doing, there should be no lye in your end result. That is one issue with homemade soaps. Some people just go all willy-nilly and don't take consideration.
The artisan subculture, because there is a big one, soaps and many other things, has probably been spurred on by social media, because having pictures on social media or a website is a great equalizer.
Yeah.
People don't know how big you are, how small you are.
Right. I mean, someone in Montana is not going to know
Yeah.
anything about Land of the Pines Soap Company if they haven't been to a craft fair or they don't know me personally. So
Right.
social media has been a great boost for getting my name out there and building my business.
So do you get inquiries from outside of North Carolina, all over the country?
Yes, I'm in several states. I have a wholesalist in Arizona, which, by the way, side note, I do offer wholesale.
Okay.
I do try to limit that so there's not 4 stores in one area. It's just not good for business. You know, we want to look out for the person selling your soaps as well. But yeah, I'm pretty much all over.
What percentage of your business is not related to women, to men?
I would say at least 20% because
That's
a
what
lot
I
of the
figured.
a lot of the candles that I make are a masculine or earthy fall scents. I have shave cream, shave soaps. I offer at
You
least
do
yeah,
make shave soaps?
I do make shave soaps.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so you make all sorts of soaps, candles.
Yes.
So your product line is not just bath soaps.
It's not just bath soaps. I do bath soaks. There have goat milk, oatmeal, lots of other wonderful goodies in there. Bath salts, the candles that you mentioned. I also do a variety of salves, hand salve, herbal salve, beard balm,
Beard balms.
bath bombs I just added. I just got those out ready in time for Christmas.
Now bath bombs are very popular, are they not?
They are very popular. I've had a lot of requests, even with the variety of bath soaks that I offer, and obviously it's a radio show, you can't see them, but they're gorgeous. They have all these flowers in there. They come in a nice jar, but people still
Right.
want this little bath bomb that fizzes in their bath. So I put some of those out for this year.
I notice kids love bath bombs. It gets them into the tub and
They
they're
do. And most of them are probably horrible for your children if you read the ingredients. They're full of F, D, and C dyes and synthetic compounds and stuff. The bath bombs that I put out are an organic, non-GMO. They're made with only essential oils, and they actually fall into the vegan category as I don't use the powdered goat milk for them.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about goat milk, because is that the base for most of your soaps?
Yes, it's the part of the liquid portion of most of my soaps. Goat milk has a really high fat content, which translates to moisture.
Right.
So you're going to get a nice moisturizing soap. It's also full of vitamins, such as the vitamin Bs,
Yep.
alpha hydroxys, and really you just can't beat that moisture content. A lot of soaps that are made with animal milks are going to have a better benefit to your skin than just your typical water and sodium hydroxide mix.
I saw a new shaving soap that came out using donkey milk.
Oh, yes.
Have you heard that?
I haven't heard of the donkey milk, but I have heard sheep milk actually has a much higher fat content than goat. So I imagine the soap would be even that much more beneficial. But it's kind of hard to find people that milk sheep.
I know. And then the vegan, is your shaving soap vegan?
The shaving soap is not vegan. The only vegan product I offer are the bath salts, since they don't have the powdered goat milk. The soaps are made with local raw goat milk, by the way, just to throw that out there. But the only vegan product I carry would be the bath bombs.
Okay. So what do you, in the soap, do you use animal fat? Is it tallow?
It depends. The majority of my soap does not contain tallow.
Okay.
But I have run into several people that are allergic or sensitive to coconut oil. And that is a main ingredient in 99% of handmade soaps, just because it gives you a nice hard bar, a good lather.
Right.
So I will substitute out tallow for the coconut oil, which gives you a really nice creamy lather. I haven't had any complaints as far as switching to that. It's also a little bit more earth friendly.
Right.
You're able to reuse something from an animal that's already given so much, the meat or the hide, whatever they're using it for. You can do that.
What's the active ingredient in a shave soap that makes it lather versus a bath soap that does not lather? Because
it's kind of a loaded question, because it depends on what is in that particular soap. There's a variety of oils and butters that could be added. You know, that soap could have been designed to just be moisturizing, so it's not going to have a lot of the oils or butters that create those big fluffy lathers. So you're still cleansing, but you're not getting that fluffy, soapy feeling.
And that fluffy, soapy feeling
is usually coming from an addition of coconut oil, palm oil. The olive oil is usually a main ingredient in a lot of handmade soaps. That has more of a, it's not a big fluffy lather. It's a small, more of a moisturizing. Just like tallow is the nice creamy lather versus big fluffy coconut oil or babassu oil.
What is Babasul oil? I've seen that. What is that?
So there's a lot of controversy regarding palm oil and like deforestation and orangutan habitats and stuff. The palm oil that I use is RSPO certified, which means they go through sustainable practices. The Babasu oil is an alternative. It's gonna still give you a nice hard bar of soap with an equal lather.
Okay.
It does cost more though.
I want to talk about the cost because you have to source all these things.
Yes.
Cocoa butter. You're so impressed that I even know what that is, right? Okay, so tell me about cocoa butter. I just read the ingredients on the shave soaps.
It's a nice moisturizing butter. It's very popular. It's considered a luxury butter, such as like mango or avocado butter, cocoa butter. That will give you a really nice hard bar of soap. Shea butter is usually what I use in my soaps. I use unrefined organic shea butter, just because of the amount of hardness it contributes to the soap. Cocoa butter is kind of a newer product. It's been around. People have processed it, or I should say refined it, processed it, however you want to go about that. But it's still kind of new to soap making. It's been out there for a little bit, but hasn't been around as long as, like, say, olive oil additions or the coconut oil and such.
Do a lot of your clients, because people all have different skin types, and some soaps are good for dry skin, some soaps are good for oily skin.
Right.
Where the oily skin, you have more of an astringent. Is that the?
I would say more of like a clarifying, more drying. There's different fatty acid profiles that go into soap making. There's some wonderful online soap calculators that help people when you're formulating your soap. You can see how the outcome's going to be. Is that particular recipe going to be more for someone with dry skin, more for someone with oily skin, inflammation? And depending on that, you can design your soap for a specific target skin types.
Okay. We're going to come back in the third set. We're going to continue to talk about soaps of all kinds and candles and bath bombs, and I'm learning a lot as we go today. Toni Portu is our guest. Land of the Pine Soap Company is the topic. Christmas gifts are available, I guess, on Etsy, and
Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook and
You can log on
Instagram.
there and see what I'm doing. If you're not already following, I suggest following on Instagram. I post something pretty much every other day, whether it's a soap that I've made or a new product or just showing off the chickens or
Okay.
happenings.
I'm doing it. We'll be back in 2 minutes. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to our third and final set with Toni Portu. We're talking all about Land of the Pine Soap Company, taking notes and learning a lot. I love the guilty pleasures of soaps and the choices that are available and the flavors and the scents. It's like a lifestyle purchase, and some of these artisan companies actually, the way they present their line is under the umbrella of a specific type of lifestyle.
Right.
And that's part of the marketing.
Part of it. So my soaps, my brand, what I carry is geared toward more of the earthy,
Yep.
natural, health conscious people. I do have soaps they're just pretty soaps. I just made it because it's pretty. It's a nice blend. I wanted to play around with it. But most of my soaps have been formulated with some sort of skin condition, skin type, or skin issue in mind.
Right. And we were talking at the end of the second set about people who have certain allergies or very dry or very oily skin.
Yes. So one of my best sellers is actually, it's old-fashioned pine tar with activated charcoal. I infuse it with calendula oil. So it's very nourishing. And the pine tar is great for all sorts of skin issues. Eczema, psoriasis, any of the poisons that you can get into around here, sumac, ivy, oak, bug bites.
Really? So the pine tar would be good for somebody with oily skin?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's a little on the drying side with the activated charcoal. It's not necessarily, it has like a nice smoky scent to it, so it's a nice men's soap as well, but it does serve a purpose if you need it to.
And it just seems to me like the last couple of years, all of a sudden I've seen in products on the shelves activated charcoal.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
It's kind of like coconut oil. The right person decides or discovers how wonderful it is and pushes it, and now there's a huge market for it. But activated charcoal is wonderful. If you go onto my Etsy site, there's an about section, and there's a testimony from a customer of mine. Her son suffered from a horrible eczema, and so I made her a custom bath soak that had the activated charcoal and some other ingredients. And you can just see the difference after a couple uses in his skin.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to have a company Christmas lunch in about a week or so. And we have, I'm guessing we're going to probably have 10 ladies there. And so I want to actually put together a gift basket for the table.
Okay.
So and we'll have probably 3 guys and 10 ladies. Because you could do candles, you could do soaps. What would you?
We could do candles, soaps. We could do some bath soaks. We could do a little nip of honey in there. I also have local honey. My father has a bee apiary, Dee's Bees, out of Aberdeen.
Oh, okay. I've seen that.
Yeah. So I sometimes will put a little vintage muth jar in there. It's a little glass jar with a cork and capped with beeswax. It makes a nice addition to the gift box.
Okay.
I kind of say, give the gift of milk and honey. Goat milk soaps and honey.
Right.
Hand salves you can always put in there. The chamomile and calendula is a nice seller.
All right. So if I gave you carte blanche to just put together a package, because I definitely want to do it, we would need them by the 12th of December. Okay. And all you need
can make that happen.
You need to know that there are going to be, let's see, I'd say 11 ladies and 4 gentlemen.
Okay.
15. Okay. And would you provide a basket? Do you package it? How does that work?
It actually depends on your preference. I can do a gift basket. I have some really nice wooden boxes. They're kind of like a large wine box. It has a sliding removable top. Dress it up with some festive ribbon. I usually put a little pine bough with some little red berries on there, or some pine cones.
Okay.
And call it a day.
So on a separate note, so I want to purchase some of the pine tar soap. And I'd love to purchase some of the shave soap, just because I'd love to shop and compare and look at the ingredients and see because you test it out, and every soap is different. They have different properties.
They do. They have different oils, the ingredients. Yeah. That's why my soap sampler is also really popular. I offer 2 different sizes. One option, you can get 5 1-ish ounce samples of soap. It's a variety. I just pre-select 5 little pieces and put together. And then there's another option where you can get, I believe it's 2.5 ounce soap, so it's just a little bit bigger bar. It's a nice way to try what's in there.
So when I first started collecting these shave soaps, I was like, I used
Hoarding,
to,
you mean?
huh?
Hoarding.
Yeah, hoarding. Yeah. So, but I used to buy canned shave cream.
Okay. The aerosol kind.
Yeah, all the just did Gillette. I mean, they were all different. Barbasol. And then when I saw the prices on these shave soaps, like $7, $8, that seemed very expensive to me. Today, I look at a shave soap that's $25. I don't even flinch. But people who are buying soaps in grocery stores,
Yes.
I mean, they're paying $1.50, $2 a bar.
Right.
They come and look at your stuff, and it's $6, $7, $8 a bar. And some people have sticker shock, but there's something you want to say about that, because custom soaps that you make are
Yes.
actually very expensive.
There's a lot of time and energy that goes into soap making. Those commercial soaps, they have bought in bulk. They've got bottom dollar products. They're not using top quality ingredients. They're not organic. They probably don't care about the sustainability or the Fair Trade choosing fair trade flowers and botanicals that are in there. A lot of homemade, handmade soap artisans spend a lot of time choosing their products.
Right.
All of my oils are organic. The flowers, the botanicals are either hand-picked and dried by myself, like my rosemary and my rose petals. I grow and pick those.
Do you really?
I do. So there's a lot of personal time that goes into these soaps. It's not just a factory line of 10-cent oil and synthesized urea that has gone into your soap. These are hemp seed oil, the goat milk. I buy that. It's locally sourced. So that comes frozen, the thawing, the time, the 4 to 6 weeks that it's sitting.
Right.
There's a lot of effort that goes into designing that soap. It's kind of like a painting. Nobody sneezes at a $300 custom piece of artwork or more. But you've got a $7 bar of soap. Some people do raise eyebrows, but you're getting a lot in that $7 bar of soap.
My guess is from the time you started this 2 years ago to today, there's like a metamorphosis going on, because you develop a line, and then you ship it, and you get feedback from clients, and then you start developing newer product off that.
Yes, that's actually one of the reasons when we're talking about the open air soaps, I switched to just doing the wrapper label so people can see more of the design, get more of the smell, the scent, I should say. And I've also branched out. When I first started doing this, I had 6 or 7 different scents and my hand salve and a beard balm, and now I've got 4 different scents of candles. Oh my gosh, I think I have at least 25 different scents of soap, 4 or 5 different salves, including arnica salve, the local honey, the shave bowls, the lather bowls, the soap dishes. It's just the smudge sticks that I just brought in.
What's a smudge stick? I need to know what that.
A smudge stick is a variety of dried flowers or herbs, and you light it, blow it out, and you let it smoke, and it's to push out the negative energy.
So it's like
Bring
incense.
some positivity. It's like incense,
what a
but
guy would
not
say.
really like incense. Yes.
Okay.
It's very pretty incense.
Oh, it is?
These smudge sticks. They're more aesthetically pleasing.
And tell me what's in them again?
Well, there's a variety. It depends on what you're trying to promote or what you're getting.
Okay.
Mine are more of a wildflower white pine mix, and they come with the amethyst crystal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you burn them,
Snazz
they are...
up.
Okay, so it's aesthetic as well as medicinal or cleansing?
Yes, soul cleansing, we'll say.
Okay, soul cleansing. I read an article, I want to shift gears just a little bit, because the artisan industry in cosmetics has exploded, and people can go to so many on-site social media sites to access stuff. So now Congress, a couple of senators, there's an article I think I shared with you.
Yes.
There's a move underway to sort of put the kibosh a little bit on these home-based businesses,
Right.
because they're hurting the, I call them the Monsanto cosmetic companies. the industrial stuff that you're talking about.
There's a movement. It's been going on for the last couple of years. People are more aware of what they're putting on and in their body. We don't want your propylene glycol. We don't want your parabens and your fragrance oils that are full of phthalates. If that is one thing that I will say quickly, that the soaps that I have that do have a fragrance oil, they're all phthalate free, which is it has been found to be hormone disrupting. So that is something you would want to make sure if you're purchasing a product that has fragrance oil that it is a phthalate free fragrance oil. But yeah, there's a movement. People don't want that stuff on them. So they're looking to these local, small, handmade artisans that are putting out nice products. With that bill, basically they're wanting us to foot the bill for the big companies' research. They want to put together a committee that's going to go over 5 to 6 ingredients yearly and determine their safety and regulate their usage for soaps. But those aren't ingredients that you're going to find in handmade soaps. They're the big company, the commercial soaps. And it would really diminish the quality and the numbers of homemade artisans, because with the fees and such, they just wouldn't be able to top that. It would put a lot of them out of business. And it's a shame that they want us to do that.
I'm looking at the article.
Well, so far I think it was brought up or first announced maybe in 2014 or 2015, but when I looked, there hasn't been any further action taken on it since 2016. So maybe
the way things go in
it's just shuffled
government,
at the bottom and nobody cares.
Some of the corporations that are supporting increased regulations: Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Revlon, Estee Lauder.
And I won't say that I'm not for some form of increased regulation, because there are some handmade artisans that ruin it for the rest of us, like we talked about in the prior section about people not being aware of what they're putting in there, not checking their values, and selling like lye-heavy soap or ingredients that don't really go well together, or not making it completely known what's in there. It can be dangerous for the consumer. I'm completely transparent about what's in my soap. If you want to know exactly what essential oils are in there, I'll tell you.
Perfect. Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
Go back to shave soaps for just a second. Some soaps, they have a very strong scent, but some of them can have a tendency to burn. What makes that happen? What is the burn from? And people don't use them. They say, oh, it's too strong. Right.
The burn can be from a variety of different things. A lot of men's products have sandalwood, clove, cinnamon. Clove and cinnamon can be actually very irritating to the skin. They're supposed to be used in very small quantities.
Bay rum, too, I would think.
But bay rum.
Okay.
And then once again, it goes back to those ingredients. What did they put in that soap? Is it a natural soap? Does it have bentonite clay or any of the clays in there, or is it full of the synthetic stuff?
And bentonite clay is a good thing to have.
Yes, it's wonderful. It's what helps add the slip when you're making a homemade shave soap.
You call it the slip?
The slip, the lubey lather feeling.
So the slip. What's the word that people use? The glide, the slip. How smooth it is.
Yes.
Okay. Not how thick it is, but just how smooth it is.
Right. And I offer a shave soap and a shave cream, because some people like the soft, fluffy lather of the shave soap, which is actually a really nice unisex soap. You can use it for your legs or your face, depending on who's buying it. And then the shave cream is more of that thick, whipped lather that some men prefer.
Do you have you had any opportunities to do any corporate gifts or any group gifts for businesses?
I have. Actually, this year has been a really great year for gift boxes and the community Christmas parties and stuff.
Yeah. So you have, where you sit right now, you're looking forward and the world is your oyster. You have tons of opportunities.
I do. However, I can only be as big as my guest room and my kitchen.
So you just.
I would have to.
It's all yourself.
Expand. Yeah.
It's all yourself.
It's all myself. I don't have another area or a business or a space that I lease out or rent out. It's all out of my home. I would love to get to the point where I drop the kids off at school and then I go to my little shop and I pour soap and make salve while they're at school and pick them up. It would be great.
Is it therapeutic?
It's therapeutic. It's my creative release.
Part
of being a hairdresser, I love designing the hair color and the outcome, and then not doing that. I've kind of been in I don't want to call it a funk, but since having kids, it's kind of like, where am I going to get that creative outlet? What am I doing? I had hobbies and stuff, but the soap is really doing that and selling it and having a bigger need so I can make more soap and do different things has really helped get that creativity out.
And it lets you still be a stay-at-home mom, still have a challenge in front of you every day, and you can kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Yeah, and I use everything I make. So, when I'm pouring salve, there, 20 tens for you, 110 for me. Here's a candle for you. Here's a candle for me.
Right.
It's not, I don't just make it and then push it out the door. I have a sample of pretty much everything I make.
And your boys probably, they're 5 years old.
Yes.
So they probably watch every little thing you do and
They do.
observe everything.
Yes. Some people say, how do you do that at home with two kids? Isn't that
Yeah.
dangerous? And I'm like, it is dangerous. It's very dangerous. They're not
Right.
in the kitchen or the area that I'm making soap. I usually bribe them with cookies and juice and say, here, go play. If mommy needs to make her soap. And they're very aware that, it's not something you can just come running in there when mommy's making her soap.
People can, they can go to Instagram, Facebook, or Etsy.
Right.
And if they put in Land of the Pines Soap Company.
For social media.
Okay.
For Etsy, it's Land of the Pines Shop. And it's all one word.
Okay. Etsy's a great place to shop.
Etsy's a great platform. I mean,
Yeah.
there's also Shopify.
Uh-huh.
I think that's how you pronounce it, and a couple other online platforms. But for me, Etsy's been really great.
Yeah.
It's been a good way to get my name out there.
The whole retail business since the 1970s, 1980s has completely been turned upside down. How people get product, how they source things, how things get to the end user. It's just a completely different, sometimes it's now a non-brick and mortar type thing. There's going to come a day when everything is going to be generated, on computers. I can't even imagine the mail system is going to stay the postal office.
Right.
There'll be shipping companies and electronic transmissions. It's just all changing right in front of us.
Yeah. I've learned a lot. Being a hairstylist, before I had a very, I'll say small business. You come in, you pay for your service, you're done. I didn't have a lot of social media or online banking or shipping or
Right.
inventory list or wholesale lists to send to people. So this has really been a learning experience for me. I had one wholesaler ask something about net 30, and I was like, I didn't say I didn't know what that meant, but I
know what it
Let
means.
me get back to you in a minute. I had to look that up. I was like, what do they mean?
That means you pay your bill within 30 days?
No, you need to pay it now because I'm a small business.
Right.
Well, I'm a very small business. Payments come up front and then shipping. Depending on the order, I usually do request at least a 50% deposit.
You're smart to do that. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
It's exciting. I'm so glad you could come in.
Thanks
and
for having me.
I hope people will go to your site and look at some things because it's not too late to place Christmas gifts.
It's not too late to request something for the spring either. I do a lot of craft fairs, local street fairs and festivals, and I've recently started doing little mini pop-ups. I've had where I pull my soaps out, and I've had a couple ladies that I know that wanted to come over and shop on their lunch break for the holidays. So I pulled all the soaps and stuff out and had the kitchen table looking nice, and they came over and did a little pop-up.
A pop-up.
A little soap pop-up.
That's what that's called? Okay. I'm learning a lot here today. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
I definitely am looking forward to seeing what you can put together for our company lunch for Christmas. And we'll just talk as we go.
Okay, sounds great.
Toni Portu, Land of the Pine Soap Company. Thanks for joining us. This is All Things Moore County. Enjoy your Christmas shopping as we keep getting closer to Christmas. This is All Things Moore County.